Hey everyone, so we're always hearing about AI taking over, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's not just like, robots and stuff. It's actually like seriously impacting creative fields now,
Yeah.
which is kind of wild.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like when you think about it, it's like we always thought
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
AI would be like a very niche thing,
Yeah.
and it's really, really like
Exploded.
exploded and become something that's
Yeah.
intertwined with all these like creative fields that we thought were
Yeah.
uniquely human. So,
Totally. So we decided to do a deep dive on this YouTube channel.
okay.
It's called AI for Creatives, the Next Frontier.
Cool.
And it's really fascinating how much AI is actually already being used
Yeah.
in like creative work, even stuff that you wouldn't even like think of.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just like, a futuristic
Right.
concept. It's like literally happening right now
Yeah. It's like AI is
as we speak.
creating art, composing music, like writing scripts, like
Mhm.
even, powering those crazy special effects.
Yeah.
It's wild. I don't know if you remember, but do you remember that
Oh, yeah.
AI generated portrait,
Yeah.
Edmund de Bellamy?
Yeah.
That sold for over $400,000 back in 2018.
I feel like that was a real kind of turning point
Yeah.
because it wasn't just that AI could create something, it was that it created something that was considered valuable
Yeah.
by, the art market and everything.
Like our world.
And it really ignited this debate about like what even is art
Yeah.
and like who can be considered an artist in the age of AI.
Totally. And that's what I thought was so interesting about this YouTube channel is they really emphasize that it's not about AI replacing human artists
Totally.
entirely.
Like it's not this
No.
like AI is going to take over and you're out of a job kind of thing.
Right, exactly. It's more about like the collaboration
Yes.
and like the fusion of human creativity and like
Mhm.
AI's kind of like capabilities.
Totally. It's like having a new set of tools,
Yeah. It's like this whole other
It's like, it's like this whole other,
It's like having a superpower.
yeah, like a superpower.
It makes me think of that musician Holly Herndon.
Yeah.
Have you heard of her? She uses
She's great.
an AI program called Spawn
Go on, yeah.
in her work.
Yeah, she's a great example of someone who's like really
Yeah.
pushing the boundaries with this stuff.
Mm.
It's really cool. Like her music is this really interesting blend of like human elements and then machine elements. And
Yeah.
it's just super, super unique and really thought-provoking.
Yeah, and like you can tell it's AI, but it's also like very clearly like
Yeah, and it's not just like
human.
it's not just like throwing it in there for the sake of it. It's like
Right.
she's really using it in a way that's like innovative and experimental and
Yeah.
really cool.
And like the cool thing is like this technology isn't just for like,
Yeah, totally.
big time artists and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's becoming more and more accessible to like
it's polluted.
anyone.
Anyone.
Like think about Canva or Adobe Firefly.
Those platforms are amazing because they're
I know.
democratizing creativity.
Right.
They're giving like anyone the ability to like design graphics and
Yeah.
edit photos and like really express themselves
Yeah.
visually, regardless of their like background or experience level.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And you don't have to go to like
Exactly.
school for like
Exactly.
art school.
You don't need a fancy art degree.
Exactly.
You can just like hop on and start creating.
So speaking of which, this YouTube channel, they highlight all these like cool tools
Yeah.
that are like being used. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
oh my God, there are so many
It's amazing how fast it's all moving.
like in the visual art world.
Yeah, visual art especially.
It's insane. Like, have you heard of DALL-E?
Of course. DALL-E's incredible.
I know.
You can literally like give it text prompts
I know.
and it'll generate an image.
It's like what?
Like it's mind-blowing.
It's like something out of a movie.
It really is.
Like you can be like, show me a cat wearing a hat, riding a bicycle on the moon, and it will generate that.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is it actually looks good,
Right. It's not just this like jumbled mess.
Exactly. It looks like something an artist could have made.
And then there's like Midjourney and Art Breeder.
Yeah, those are cool too.
Like I haven't even had a chance to try them yet, but I'm like,
You should. There's so much fun to play with.
I know, I need like a whole week just to like
Yeah.
explore.
Just to go down the rabbit hole of all the possibilities.
I
Right?
know.
It's amazing though because it's not even just the visual arts that are being impacted,
That's true.
Like the music world is seeing a huge surge in AI tools too.
Really?
Yeah. Imagine like being able to have a program that can like compose original scores and soundtracks.
Wow.
in any genre you can think of.
That would be insane.
That's pretty wild, right?
That would be a game changer for, like, filmmakers who don't have, like, a big budget.
Absolutely.
And they need, like, custom music and stuff.
And it's not just, like, for film. It's for anyone who,
No.
needs some custom music and doesn't, have thousands of dollars to shell out to a composer, so.
Wow, that's wild. So what are some of the programs for that?
So there's this program called AIVA,
Okay.
and then there's another one called Amper Music.
Okay.
And these are becoming increasingly popular. And it's not just about, like, generating the notes.
Yeah.
It's like these programs are actually getting really good at, like,
Oh, wow.
understanding the nuances of, like, different musical styles
Yeah.
and creating something that, like, evokes genuine emotion. So,
Speaking of emotion,
yeah.
this kind of makes me think about that whole, like, debate around, like, AI and its capacity to, like, really understand and replicate, like,
Right.
human feeling, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Big question.
Can it really, like, capture the soul of a piece of music or, like, the heart of a painting?
Yeah.
Like, it makes you wonder.
Yeah. And I think that's a question that's on a lot of people's minds right now.
Hmm.
It's not limited to music either.
Right.
Like, the film industry is
Yeah.
grappling with these same questions as AI starts to play a bigger role,
Behind the scenes.
behind the scenes. Yeah,
You mean, like, beyond the special effects and stuff?
exactly. I mean, those are already common uses of AI in film, but we're talking about even more fundamental aspects of filmmaking,
Okay.
like script writing. What? Yeah, there are platforms out there like Scriptbook
What?
that use AI to analyze successful movies.
Hold on.
And then they use that data to suggest plot points, character arcs, even dialogue.
Wait, so you're telling me AI is writing movies now?
In a way, yeah. It's more like it's analyzing patterns and trends in storytelling
Okay.
to help writers refine their scripts and even, like, predict audience engagement. So
Wow.
it's pretty wild.
That's crazy. Okay, I have to hear more about this.
Pretty mind-blowing.
So AI is, like, analyzing movies
Yeah.
to help write scripts.
It's pretty wild.
That's crazy. It's like having, like, a whole team of, like, Hollywood experts just, like, at your fingertips.
Yeah.
But it's like algorithms.
It's wild.
This YouTube channel is, like, blowing my mind. Like, it's making me rethink, like, this
Yeah.
whole creative process.
It really challenges,
Yeah.
like, how we think about, like, what it even means to be creative,
Totally.
And it brings up a lot of questions about, like, where AI fits into these
Right. Because it's, like,
fields that we used to think were, like, totally human-driven.
yeah, like, if AI can analyze what makes a successful movie, like, does that mean it can just, like,
Right.
eventually just, like, write a whole movie on its own? And, like, what happens to, like,
Yeah.
screenwriters and stuff then?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that's being debated a lot right now.
Yeah.
Like, some people think that it could actually, like, ultimately augment human creativity
Oh, interesting.
rather than replace it,
Okay.
They see it as a tool to kind of, like, push boundaries and explore new
Yeah.
narrative possibilities and stuff.
So, like, instead of being, like, scared of AI,
Right.
like, taking our jobs,
Right.
we should be, like, looking at it as, like, a way
Right.
to enhance, like, what we can already do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine a world where, like, AI could help you overcome writer's block. Cool. Or, like, brainstorm new ideas.
Yeah.
Or even just, like, do some of the more technical aspects of writing so that you can
Just
free up, like, your mental energy
all the boring
to
stuff.
focus on, like, the heart and soul of the story.
Totally. Yeah, because, like, some of that stuff is, like, kind of tedious.
Exactly.
But, okay, this also brings up, like, another question
Yeah.
that this YouTube channel touched upon, which is,
Okay.
if AI is, like, helping to create art, music, movies, scripts even, like,
Right.
what does that mean for, like,
Right.
ownership? Like, who owns that?
Totally. That's, like, one of the biggest ethical and legal dilemmas we're facing right now.
Totally, because it's, like,
Yeah.
if an AI writes a song and it's, like, a hit,
Yeah.
like, who gets the
royalty?
royalties, right? Like,
do you give it to the person who programmed the AI?
right, or the company.
The company that developed the software?
Yeah.
Or is it, like, something else entirely?
It's, like,
Yeah, it's really tricky.
a square peg, round hole kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, our
Current, like,
current laws and stuff
yeah, our legal frameworks
Oh.
weren't designed for this.
designed for this.
No. Like, they weren't designed for this kind of collaboration
Yeah.
between humans and machines.
Totally.
Totally.
And it's like, how do you even
Right.
begin to, like...
It gets even more complicated when you think about the data
I know, right?
that these AIs are trained on,
Yeah.
Because a lot of times
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
massive amount of, like, existing creative works.
Like, are they just, like, stealing?
Yeah. So it's like, is it actually creating something new?
Right.
Or is it just, like, remixing what it's learned?
Like, where's that line?
Exactly.
Like,
Like this weird blurring of the lines.
yeah. It's
Between, like, inspiration and straight up imitation.
Yes.
Which is, it's fascinating, but also kind of like...
Yeah, and it's like, how do you untangle that?
How do you even begin to, like, regulate that or define it?
It seems impossible.
It's going to take a lot of work, I think.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have to really rethink, like,
totally.
copyright laws and intellectual property.
Yeah, like, all of that has to, like,
Like, all of it needs to be revisited because it's a whole new ballgame.
It's like we're living in, like, a sci-fi movie.
It really is.
Where it's, like, exciting, but also, like, a little...
Well, also kind of scary.
Unnerving.
Yeah, for sure. It's like...
a little bit of both.
It's both at the same time,
Definitely.
And it's not even just, like, the legal stuff. Like, it makes you question, like, what even is?
What is creativity? Like, at its core.
Right.
Like, if an AI can generate a painting that's, like, indistinguishable
from a human.
Yeah. Does that mean, like, is human creativity less valuable?
Yeah, or does it just
change how we define it? Yeah, like, what does that even mean anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that is
a big question.
And honestly, I don't know if there is, like, an easy answer to that.
I don't think there is.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that, like, we need to be thinking about and talking about.
Totally, yeah, because it's not like it's going away.
Exactly. It's only going to become more...
It's just going to become more prevalent.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about AI's impact on, like, creativity, the potential job market, like, implications, the ethical and philosophical questions it raises.
For sure.
But, like, what does this actually mean for, like, the future of, like, art, music, film? Like, what is that actually going to...
Right, like, how is it actually going to change things?
Yeah, what's it going to look like?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Totally.
And while we can't predict the future with, like, 100% certainty...
Of course.
We can at least explore some of the possibilities,
Totally. Like, let's dive into that. Yeah. Because I know this YouTube channel that we've been, talking about, AI for Creatives, they seem to suggest that, like, ultimately AI will lead to this, like, new era of creative expression. That it's not, like, replacing humans, but it's just, like, this, like, new tool that's going to allow us to, like, do all this crazy stuff we never thought possible.
Gotcha.
So what do you make of that?
Well, I think there's definitely some merit to that argument.
Okay.
Like, if you think about it, throughout history, new technologies have always, like, disrupted creative fields.
Right.
But they've also led to new forms of art and expression.
Like, the invention of photography didn't, like, make painting like obsolete. It just, like, kind of shifted things.
It just kind of, like, changed the focus and created this whole new, like, medium for artistic expression.
Totally. And, like, think about synthesizers in music or like digital editing.
Totally.
Like, that completely changed film, but it didn't, like,
it didn't destroy it. It just pushed it in this whole other direction.
Exactly. So it's like, maybe this is just, like, AI is just, like...
the next step in that.
Next evolution.
The next step, exactly.
Yeah, and it's like, instead of, like, being afraid of it, it's like, how can we, like...
Yeah, how can we use it?
Integrate it.
How can we integrate it and see, like, what new cool stuff can come out of this,
Exactly.
Because who knows what we'll be able to create, right?
It's like, we're at this, like, edge of, like, this uncharted territory, and it's cool.
It's exciting.
But it's also, like, a little daunting.
It's a little scary.
Yeah, like,
because it's like we don't really know what it's gonna look like.
We don't know, and how it's gonna. Yeah, totally.
We have some ideas, but it's like we're just figuring it out as we go.
This whole deep dive has been, like...
I know, right?
It's a lot to process.
It's a lot to process because we went from, like, AI generated art to, like...
I know. It's like
the meaning of creativity, like...
the very essence of, like, what does it even mean to be creative anymore? It's wild.
It's, it
really is.
mind-blowing.
So I think, like, if there's one thing that, like, people should take away from this,
Yeah.
it's that AI isn't just, like,
Right.
this abstract thing that's, like, way off in the future.
Right.
It's literally impacting the creative world right now.
Right now.
In huge ways.
Like today.
Today. So it's really up to all of us to, like, engage with it thoughtfully and responsibly.
Totally. So, like, for all of you listening out there, like, don't be afraid of it,
Experiment.
Yeah, explore it. See what you can do with it. Like,
Grow it out.
You might discover something amazing,
Totally.
You never know.
Who knows, you might, like, make something really cool.
And never stop questioning and, like, never stop exploring, because as AI gets more and more advanced, it's only going to open up more doors.
Totally. It's an exciting time.
It really is.
To be, like, a creative person. And I, for one, am, like, really excited to see what happens.
It's going to be interesting.
Thanks for joining us on this
yeah, thanks, everyone.
deep dive into AI.